Yay. Okay. Oh. So what's going on, people?
Not much.
You are just got such a talkative bunch, and everything is just happening. Let's see, who are we looking for tonight online? Huh. We don't have Catherine. You gotta be kidding. I don't see Alan. I don't see Asia, even though Asia did post her PowerPoint. Okay.
I don't know, for some odd reason you always want to put me on the front screen.
I don't know how it does it.
Justin, that's because you were the last one to talk.
Okay. So basically what I need to do is shut up more. Got it.
So there's Betty.
I did not say that.
The sound just mute. Okay. Where are our presenters? I just knew. This makes class really fun and exciting when the people who are supposed to do the work aren't there. Okay, so let's see. Asia at least said that she was at the hospital with her daughter. So that gives her a benefit. Let's see what my email says, so I can determine. Who represents her? Okay, she said thank you. Teresa said thank you. You're welcome. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't do that. Wait, there's a child. No, that's not one of the names. Alright, so let's see. Where is the little button to share my screen? I don't know where that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'm in WebEx. Share my meeting window. Oh, no, I'm still that person. Where's my phone? Share my screen. That's new. Betty, how come I can't take it from you? Hello.
They have to go up to where it says share, and then I believe share content.
Okay. You're sharing your meeting.
So up at the very top, see where it says file, edit, and share?
Yeah.
That's where the students go to grab.
Okay. I'm trying to share my screen.
Well, you should be able. Don't you have the same thing?
Yeah.
Hit share and hit share content. There we go. We see ya.
All right. So let's see. Hi, I'm Asia Pope, and I'm going to be presenting for Asia. Her article.
Building and maintaining coalitions in leads and trade throughout negotiations by Asia Pope.
So she introduced herself. She's from Columbus, Ohio. I assume, I don't know. She's playing. I don't know if she was speaking or not.
She might have it set up to hit
Yeah.
button for it to continue.
What?
So hit the arrow key next to where it says slide to a 5.
Yeah.
Who is Asia Post? I was born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. I received my bachelor's degree in information systems in Valley, June of last year. And I'll actually receive my master's in communications this year, June 23rd. I have a beautiful 8-year-old daughter. She's teaching me busy. She actually has special needs. So my hands are completely free. And I currently work for the state of Ohio in the Equal Opportunity Division.
Okay, I know when I grabbed the screen and took it over from the one to the primary. There we go.
Building a joint coalition. Coalitions are incredibly powerful in negotiation. With allegiances and coalitions, they normally have a good number of people that have the same interests and can attract public officials and media even when other avenues are clear. This article helps us to learn how to start strong, stay strong, and position yourself to have an influence within your alliance. If you want to build or join a coalition, you should first think of these 6 aspects first. Identify the common objectives, which could be, do you have anything in common with a group of people that you would like to form a coalition with? If you find that everyone in the group shares the same interests, then the coalition could possibly have great success. Determine how much influence you have within the coalition. It is important to ensure that you are actively participating and speaking up to show your influence is an important piece to the puzzle, but you should also be careful not to be so forceful that people start to feel as if you are bullying them. Will you lead the charge? It is important to still encourage other members to share their ideas, resources, and even concerns. Even if you are not the leader, this can still help improve just how much influence you have in the coalition. Will you recognize if other participants have retreated behind you? You must be aware of your surroundings. This will help you to avoid embarrassment from not realizing that your fellow members have moved on without you. How will you control the communication of information? Understanding that there is a time and a place for everything will be key. If you have something to say that you feel very private or that you don't want to get out into the media, you should not share that information in a coalition meeting. Appreciating the coalition as a fragile and imperfect design. Never count on a coalition to stay together. Coalitions have a reputation for separating, especially during vulnerable moments. There are a couple different ways that you can strengthen the adhesion of a coalition. That's through goals, communication, leadership, and also your own success. Through goals, whether they be short-term or long-term, it's very important that you let everybody in your group know the progress of your goals. This keeps you on track, and it also lets them know just exactly where you guys are in any of the projects that you guys are doing, or even something as simple as team building activities. So our next one we had was communication. Communication is key, whether it's at home, work, school, and of course in a coalition, as we are learning. Sometimes in a coalition, there are things that unfortunately not everybody is privileged to know. So sometimes you do have to actually weigh just how important, I guess, maybe importance is not the right word to say, but maybe the influence, how much influence a person has can help determine exactly what they do need to know. For leadership, it's very important in a coalition not to just lead. You want to also make sure that you inspire, whether that's to follow or maybe, again, like I said earlier, share their ideas, share their goals. Maybe some of their goals that they want to reach are in interest of the coalition. And the last one was your own success. With coalitions, it has both risk and benefits. So when you do join a coalition, as stated earlier, you have to really think about why you want to join a coalition, and even what those common goals or common interests of the coalition are. And again, if these are interests that are interest to you and that can help you grow professionally or even personally, then maybe it is the place you want to be. So to wrap it all up this evening, this article really helped to let us see how coalitions can affect negotiation. They can affect them in a very positive way, but they can also affect them in a negative way, depending on what the coalition stands for and how others in the community view the coalition and things that they are into or things that they're doing. And of course, before joining a coalition, it's going to be very important that you make sure you ask yourself, are you willing to throw away whatever makes you whole for the benefit of those who squander your gift for their own selfish objectives? This was actually a quote from the book, and I actually really like that one because it really does make you think. A lot of times we join these groups or these committees and we feel like this is going to be awesome. They think like I do. We have the same visions. We have the same goals. But as you dive deep down into it, sometimes it's not always what it seems to be. I know my mom always told me, don't judge a book by its cover. So before joining a coalition or even building one yourself, again, it is very, very important that you ask yourself about the common objectives or interests that everyone in this coalition will have. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to listen to my presentation. I really wanted to be in class today. I really apologize. I am actually in the hospital with my daughter right now, so if you heard her, I do apologize about that too. I've had to re-record slides a couple of times now. But again, thank you, and I definitely look forward to everybody's feedback.
Okie dokie. Cool. All right. What is the camera looking at? I don't know. What's up, people?
We're looking at you.
Are you? I just see like a big orange wall. I don't know. Well, that's my screen. All right. Am I still in it? Yeah, I think I'm still in it. Okay, so what's going on, people? Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Good. Glad to know that there were other people out there. I was just trying to figure it out. So, we don't have a clue where Alan and we don't have a clue where Catherine are. Don't see any emails from them. So,
Jelly donut.
they just leave you. I have no jelly donuts for anybody. It's just not my nature. Oh. Okay, so let's see. What did we talk about last week? Last week in class. Oh, and by the way, everybody, just so you know, we have Student Appreciation Week. So at 7 o'clock we get pizza. So at 7 o'clock, either we're going down as a class and we're leaving you guys hanging, or I'm going to tell somebody to go downstairs and like grab 2 pizzas and just bring them up to class. And see, if I ask somebody to do that, they won't, because everybody acts like, I can't do that. And I'll go down there and grab 2 pieces and not care. Just like that. Okay. So last week we had an interesting negotiation. We did, what company were we?
Council.
Oh, the mining company. And I really had some terrible slides for them. Twin Lakes Mining Company. And what was interesting is that I, of course, tried to keep it up, Jake. Justin, funny. What's that? You got your pizza. You're in the class next to us. Okay. All right. So the class was split up into 2 groups. one was the mining company, one was the city coalition. And they were given time to discuss what were the issues and the concerns regarding the negotiation, the air quality, the water quality. You know, they get to see y'all every once in a while. So, can you see your fellow classmates? So, in regards to the opportunity to negotiate and communicate with their teams, they were given the opportunity, of course, after the prioritizing and deciding how they wanted to communicate and make things happen, that we had pointed, okay, it's time to negotiate. And as usual, as a group of wonderful individuals, they all came rushing back into the classroom so that they could immediately just start discussing everything that was on the sheets of paper in front of them. And they yelled a little, and they put their feet down, and they said that they were going to stand firm, and they said other things about the teams as though they were being shafted. Was that one of the words? The other team was going to shaft us. And the positive outcome was that though they spent probably 10 minutes negotiating amongst themselves, that I then explained to them that the negotiation exercise had nothing to do with what was on the paper, because they actually have been negotiating as a group for the last 20 to 25 minutes, determining what they thought was important, how they wanted to present themselves, and that we have to learn that in all aspects, as we try to communicate, that there are a whole bunch of negotiation tools at that time, and it helps to make things roll along in that regard. So, still not seeing Alan and Catherine. I guess we'll just deal with it. We're going to talk about Chapter 10. First, dealing with relationships and negotiations. And again, this builds on what Asia was discussing. When we are looking at relationships in a negotiation, some of the critical factors that we have to consider: how long have we known each other? What are your comfort levels with the other individual? Are you patient enough to learn that you're going to need a long-term deal? Like, today was a good news cycle. It was really nice for our government to tell us that Trump, or the government as a whole, they want to close the border between us and Mexico. There's nothing better than the person who lives next door saying you want to build a bigger fence, or you want to put up hedges and act as though you're not going to deal with them. And then they were nice to give us figures about how many people come across the border and actually work here legally. And if I recall, I see on Facebook quite frequently people who go to Cancun, and I think it's Cama, Mexico, as a holiday resort. And if we close it down, we'll just have people who are upset. When we deal with negotiations in a relationship, another factor is, generally, if you're having a positive relationship and you're going to have long-term, goes back to the first week, where we don't want to be distributive. We want to ensure that it's an integrated relationship. We want to make sure that it's the best for all sides. And when we look in regards to creating that relationship, one of the key factors that you have to build into it is you can't plan for your relationship to end. If we start to see a relationship that we can believe is going to be finite or something that can come to a close, our approach in the negotiations begins to change. It's week one of a new session, and you know that you're going to deal with this new person, teacher, classmates, for the next 8 weeks. We're going to come in week 1 and be nice and polite and try to present our best self. Now, when it's week 8 and the session's about to end, you can tell people about themselves because you hope that you just aren't signed up to be in the same class next session. And people do that. I'm sure that many of you have finished the course, and one of the words that you said week 8 when you were walking out of class was, I am never taking that professor again. Okay? And you look on that sheet, see what they're signed up for, and say, I would rather wait another semester than to have to deal with that person. Okay? So they talk about forms of relationships. They talk about communal. They talk about authority. They talk about equality. And they talk about market pricing. When it's communal, you're looking at your group relationship. It's your community. It's mom, dad. It's the people who you surround yourselves with as you start a relationship. Some of these are forced. You're supposed to act a certain way. We're expecting because you're this type of person or that type of person. I really don't want to specify. Male, female, and we'll just leave it at that. This is how you're supposed to act. When it comes to authority, if you're in a position of power, you generally control it. And you look to make sure that with your position of power, that you're going to exemplify, whether it's reference power, whether it's legitimate, whether it's reward power, whether it's just entitled alone. And at the same point, if we lack power, we tend to become more humble. We tend to sit back. We don't want to be spotlighted, which puts it at risk in a negotiation environment, because if you're the quiet person and you don't speak up, why are you part of the negotiation? And if people are sitting there waiting for you to speak up, generally they will leave you. And there's no reason for them not to, because they're trying to say, what value are you adding? Equality matching, this is a good point in regards to the coalition, that what do you bring to the table? We like people who have a lot of money. We like people who have a positive voice. We like people who have a lot of followers. Do we recognize that they equal one another? If someone can bring 50,000 people to the table, when someone can bring $50,000 but nobody to the table, aren't they really the same in power potentially? In regards to, I want to build a coalition and I want to make sure that I'm building it on everybody's strengths. Everybody with me? Okay. Things that we count on in regards to negotiation. What is the person's reputation? When we go into a situation and we want to negotiate, we want the people to have a positive reputation. Interesting scenario we had that was really nice yesterday. Our wonderful city of Chicago. So we decide that Kim Foxx, the state's attorney for Cook County, dismissed all 16 felony counts against Jussie Smollett. And it was a very enlightening moment because we got a lot of national news coverage saying, here we have an individual who made a false police report and 16 counts were brought against them and they dismissed it. This is a FYI. A false police report is a felony. It is I think it's a class 3. It could be a class 4. But you could be sentenced for 3 years to jail. And Jussie Smollett was dismissed. And then we got to use the buzzword because that weekend, the great buzzword for President Trump was the Mueller report was exonerated. And that ended on Monday because that story was over. And they were quick to tell Jussie Smollett was exonerated. I was like, wow, That's a nice tie into one another. And we kept going with it. But here we have Kim Fox, who has a text message from Michelle Obama's chief of staff. Text message from a criminal defendant's family asking to do them favors. And generally that shouldn't happen. But what was nice was, you know, they had the rallies outside her office yesterday. Now, you know, if you want to have a rally in the city, you have to get a permit. And it was just nice enough that they granted both rallies permits, different corners of the building, but at the same time. Okay. Now, remember I tell you guys, you have to have an agenda and you have to have a plan. So, our city currently, to those of you online who are not from Chicago, I'm sure Chicago's not in its best light right now. Okay. We've got a police officer who shot somebody 16 times, and he got sentenced to 6 years in jail. We have a movie actor who committed 16 felonies and got exonerated. Because what would be really dangerous is if Jussie Smollett was prosecuted by the state, what if he got more time than the police officer who shot the kid? What if he gets less time? How can you compare someone who made a false police report to a police officer who shot a kid? Okay, so that's one. Okay, so you guys know, there's the box and I'm like way outside of it. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, they wanted to send it to the FBI to investigate. Now, those of you who haven't, I know we don't do it anymore. Does anybody send letters anymore? Okay? We just get our bills through the mail. That's it? Okay. Well, in case you were thinking, remember Jussie Smollett said that they sent that letter, and just as a surprise for you guys, the state charges, because he said that the police call, are based on Chicago, which is based on Cook County, which is based on Illinois. So you can't have the federal court step in. But if they find out that he mailed the letter to himself, we do not have the Illinois Postal Service. We have what is called the United States Postal Service. So if he mailed that letter to himself, then potentially that was, that contributed to the claims of creating a police report. So they could potentially go after him with a federal action because of that letter. Just want to make guys see everything stirred up. But then I get back to our planning. Okay? Everything is a negotiation. If you were the state's attorney, do you really want to be reflected in the positive or the negative in the news? You want to be in the positive, correct? So, what do? You have two rallies. You have a negative rally and a positive rally. And they're on the same street corners. And why do you do it at the same time? If I have a rally at 2 o'clock and they say, we hate Chris, what news cycle does that go into? No, I need specifics.
5 p.m.?
5 p.m. to 6 p.m. So 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., they open, rally outside Chris Williams' office. We hate Chris. And then we have the positive rally, but that starts at 8 o'clock, and that gets to the 10 o'clock news cycle. So it's either you heard about hating me or you heard about loving me. What Chicago was able to do was ensure, by having both rallies at the same time, that they both were going to get covered at 6 o'clock. And you were going to get a replay at 10 o'clock. And remember, this is Chris's conspiracy theory work. There's nothing better than the news saying we hate him, and he had a whole bunch of people saying we love him. Because you all are getting your masters, correct? You're up here. The masters, they're just following along. And when they're following along, what happens is they're going to pick a side. If you put both sides of them right away, it's just like this. How many people like cheese pizza? Okay. How many people like pepperoni? How many people like sausage? How many people like pepperoni and sausage? Okay. How many people like veggie? Okay. But the only pizzas downstairs are anchovy. Okay? I wanted to roll as much out as you. If you're going to invite people over to your house, and it's not just you, you're going to order a cheese pizza, you're going to order a sausage pizza, and you're going to order pepperoni pizza. Because you want, hopefully, everyone's going to be happy. And the people who don't like pepperoni and sausage, what's the thing that we tell them? Take it off. Thank you. Act like some people live in the real world. Okay? We prefer it to be pepperoni, all right? Because they're easy to pick off. Okay? So, that's what we want. We want it the news cycle. Now, understand, what did Rahm Emanuel say? It's his part. And you guys understand it's all a massive negotiation. We're manipulating you, which is a negotiation. Rahm Emanuel, what did he say about Jussie Smollett? He owes the city $130,000 for all the manpower that the police put into it. You guys do know that if you ever hit a light pole, that the village or the municipality can charge you for the light pole because it's got to get fixed. Okay.
I work in claims, so.
Yeah, they go for all that. But the best part about this is Rahm Emanuel, like right now, yeah, definitely right now, right, because it's 7:10, the polls are closed. Rahm Emanuel's like, this is not my problem anymore. You all wanted Kim Foxx. You didn't want the person I had. Now Kim Foxx allegedly is part of the political process. And she even took it out of Chicago because she got to Michelle Obama's crew. And we realized that famous people get treated better. And her state's office, they sent out a memo, has any other deals like this been struck? But nothing to that significance of 16 felony counts. And, man, there's just so many, and this is going to be so awesome. And you guys know that they still haven't found all the kids or identified all the kids that John Wayne Gacy killed, right? There's still people that they haven't been able to identify, all right? But you were able to find Jussie Smollett attackers in 1 week. Then allegedly the attackers left and went to Africa and came back. But we still haven't found that postal worker who disappeared in December. And all of this goes into the big pot that is Chicago. Why y'all look sad? What? This is stuff that keeps me up at night. So I have to deal with this and stress out about it. What else are we going to talk about? Oh, man. So, we're going to do a negotiation tonight. Our online students right now are going, Chris, what are we going to talk about? Hey, you guys can unmute. Everybody, come on, say hi. Because we're about to go have pizza. And when we go have pizza, we're not coming back. Tola, how are you? Okay,
I'm good, Professor. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Teresa, how's New York?
You're good. Hi, everyone.
Is it raining?
No, it's not.
My brother said it was supposed to rain today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's out on the island.
Oh, not here. Nothing here yet.
Okay. Sarah, how are you doing today?
Good, it's raining here.
Where are you at, Sarah?
Wisconsin.
Oh, yes, in the middle of Wisconsin, where the sea is. Okay. Well, I had the pleasure of going to Indianapolis this weekend. My kid got to play one game in rain, and then on Saturday night, we got 2 inches of snow. So we got to go down there for an hour and a half.
Wait, it's snowed there?
Yeah, we got 2 inches of snow Saturday night in Indianapolis. Yeah, you can't play baseball in the snow. Hey, if you go on Facebook and look up my name, you'll see my little guy playing ball. I love him. Well, I'm supposed to, I'm his dad. Okay.
Yeah.
But I love all four of them. They're awesome. All right, Rihanna, how are you? Okay. She's like, my monkey's not coming over. Justin, y'all good? East Coast, pizza, make it happen. Jacob, how are you?
I'm all good.
Okay. Philly's well? Trying to remember. Brenda? Brenda's facing us out. She has her headset laying down on the pillow, and she's not listening. Okay. All right, Brenda, we saw the high. Gotcha. Betty, how are you? Okay. Cold and rain. All right, online, what do we have to do this week? We have presentations next week, negotiations in the news. You guys have a pleasant one. If you have any questions, just email me. Oh, and by the way, since you guys are the traditional crew, I'm sorry, I take swings at people. There was nothing better this week than the emails that I got that said, here's my paper topic. Totally loved it. I was like, really? And you know you're supposed to respond. I was like, you did not watch class last week, did you? We covered there like the first 10 minutes that there was no paper, no final. So yeah, I was like, go look at the class video. Here's my paper topic. Go see the video. Go watch the video. We should have saved it to the end. Yeah. So I'm going to make a mental note next session that is my online, on-site wins negotiation, which you didn't. Okay. It won't happen. All right. Everybody good? Have a good one. It's an early Tuesday. Everybody enjoy the Final Four and all that wonderful stuff. And I'm going to say goodbye. So, goodbye. Gonna hit the X. Wait, I gotta hit stop recording. Stop.